Our first guest joins us to kick off our 2 weeks worth of broadcasts here from Berlin, Germany, and our 10th anniversary of IFA. We've been on the air for, it'll be 19 years in January, and we're proud that it's 10 years here at IFA. There's so much to show, and our first guest is with the company that puts IFA together every year, among many other shows. He is the new CEO of Messe-Berlin as of a couple of months ago, as a matter of fact, Dr. Christian Goke. Christian, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much,
Always a delight to have you with us.
Always a pleasure being here with you.
And congrats on the promotion, too. Now you are
Thank you.
The man. I mean, you have been,
well,
but come on.
The man, sounds a little bit like too much the man, but yes, I'm at the helm for the last 2 months.
Yeah.
And I like it a lot.
How has that changed your life? I mean, this is, of course, your first IFA as the complete top dog, and has it dramatically changed?
Not really. It's the same parking lot. It's the same people I'm talking to, same place where we're having lunch and dinner together.
Yes.
So no,
same,
not really.
Making exhibitors happy and so forth. But you know what? You don't have to make them happy because the crowds are making them happy. There are so many visitors here, so many buyers, so many press and analysts and folks that are communicating with your exhibitors. They're thrilled.
Well, hopefully there are. And as you just started to point out, there's this magic rectangle that builds the conceptual basis of our show. We have the media, we have the public, we have the manufacturers, and we have the trade. Yeah. And all four parties are really influencing and stimulating themselves. And so that is, at the end of the day, that is the main performance of IFA.
Sure. Plus, it's an important show for Berlin as well, for the local economy, because of the thousands that you bring here. Right. And they're all filling the hotels and the restaurants and everything. And that's part of what makes a good trade show as well. The local folks say, oh, please, keep this up.
Well, I mean, talking about the importance of this show for our city, for Berlin, I really don't know where to start and where to stop, because it is not just bringing in another trade show. This show has this incredible leverage delivered by you, the media. We will see over 6,500 accredited journalists this year from over 70 countries, and that brings in an amazing leverage for the city, because all of you are not just talking about this show, you are at the same time always integrating the city, the image, the flair, what the city has to offer, the history, and that is where we are really scoring, because this city is probably seen from abroad as even more interesting and attractive than it is seen from us, the people who are living here in Berlin.
I mean, that's a great example. We take our hometown of Miami for granted, and yet people that say, oh my gosh, I love visiting, or I want to go there, same thing.
It is probably the most amazing city, at least in Europe for the time being. And if you remember the time when you came here for the first time, and you just mentioned in your short introduction that 10 years ago you were the first time on air here at our IFA.
In fact, it was 12 years ago, because back then you were doing this show only every other year.
Well,
we say, well, then how are you celebrating your 10th anniversary? And is that German math? No, it's because the next year was one of those years you skipped. And a lot of changes.
We both do remember that this change from a biannual to an annual rhythm was one of the major steps, the strategic steps forward for our show. But coming back to this feeling 12 years ago, this show was far away from heading the field, was far away from being the undisputed number one in this field. Now, with regard to all the essential KPIs, key performance indicators, we are by far the leading consumer electronics show in the world. And discussing that with an American always adds a little spice to that discussion. But I think you will this year again get a good idea how well this show is developing, how well this show is performing. Again, we will increase all relevant KPIs with regard to 2012, and next year, without anticipating too much, but next year we will even accelerate our growth, because the exhibition ground, our display area that we had available for the last 3 years, were was completely booked out and sold out.
Yeah,
and so next year we are
limited.
right now we are building a new conference center, a new exhibition hall that will enable us to grow that show with regard to display size even stronger next year. But I always try to point out that the hardware isn't as essential as the software. Hardware is our halls, our display area. Software is what this show really has to offer to its customers. And the customers, be it the exhibitors, be it the trade, be it you, the media, or be it the consumer who comes here in or even greater numbers, or probably will come here in even greater numbers this year, they all get value for their money they are spending here. And the square meter sold is just the most telling KPI, because it indicates the availability and the willingness of our exhibitors to spend money for that show, thereby indicating the value that they are giving that show. And as long as they are investing in their booth, that is the best display of confidence they have for this show in the future.
Absolutely, and we're fast running out of time to make room for those exhibitors to be able to talk about their products. But I wanted to mention that, of course, IFA is just one of many shows that, especially now you as CEO of Messe-Berlin, that Messe-Berlin produces.
Yes.
It's a major important part, but do you have, what, 26 shows or more, or just so many amazing things that go on here?
Multiple it by 10. I mean, we just had, 2 days ago, we just finished our food and vegetable show in Hong Kong, and in 2 weeks' time we will start our international travel show in Singapore. We are not just limited on running shows here in Berlin, but obviously for the time being the focus of our business activities still is here in Berlin. We just erected a new exhibition site in Berlin at the new airport facilities, so we are now
Is that ever going to open?
That airport? Probably yes. Sooner or later it will. But as our governing mayor likes to point out, that you came here, didn't you? So
that's true. We got here.
We still have 2 airports running, and so obviously we expect a huge push by the new direct connections to both the Americas and the Asian Pacific region that will come up within the next couple of years.
And over the last 12 years, the last 10 years of broadcast, we have certainly recommended Berlin as a place to visit and IFA as a show to come to. And we will continue to do just that. Thank you for having us again.
And
let's hope we have another 10 years at least here at IFA.
Well, hopefully.
Yeah,
but
it depends on if you're impressed with this interview. I see.
It looks like. No, thank you so much. It's really good having you here, and you played an important role in making this show more international, especially bringing in journalists and media from the States, and therefore let me use this opportunity to thank you again for doing that.
Thank you, sir. It's our pleasure. Dr. Christian Goke is the CEO of Messe-Berlin. 2 very cool websites for you to check out. Messe-Berlin or Messe-Berlin. It's MESSE, which means fair, right? Basically, pretty much. Messe-Berlin.com. And, of course, IFA-Berlin.com. We remind you of that website each and every week here on Into Tomorrow. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for kicking off the broadcast.
My pleasure.
Now, the next 3 hours today and 3 more hours next week, we're bringing many of your exhibitors into tomorrow.
Thank you again.
We're back with more from Berlin, Germany and IFA. This is Dave Graveline on the Advanced Media Network.